right, welcome back to TCC. Welcome to 11:30 at night after a long 8-hour shift, and a video I wasn't actually planning on making for a while. I mean, obviously, you've seen the thumbnail, you know what this is, so you know, like, the whole suspense thing doesn't really work. But this is something I've actually been waiting on for a while. Then I got the invoice recently saying that it's ready to ship. There was like some confusion. I sent an email about it, like, oh no, everything's cool, it's just delayed because of whatever. And they're like, yeah, it should be shipping like next week. And this was just a few days ago. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So it was coming from Hong Kong. So I'm like, okay, I got a little bit before this shows up. But then I'm going to leave for work today, and I noticed that there's a package on the porch, and I'm like, what is that? And I pick it up, and I have this pot 0001 made in China. No, obviously, it is obviously or definitely not Darth Maul Play 112 Black Warrior figure. And this is something I'm actually really hyped about because I was actually just going to get the SH Figure Arts version again, because like there was a whole bunch of stuff happened last year. I ended up selling off like 90% of my collection, so I've been kind of rebuilding what I had. And so, you know, picking up all the old figure art stuff. And then I don't remember how. I think it was maybe through a Facebook group. I got turned on to like these, I don't even want to call them knockoffs. They're like these unofficial figures that they make over in like China and I think like Korea and Hong Kong, wherever, like over in the Asian countries. And from what it was explained to me is like they basically just take a Hot Toys and just kind of shrink it down into 6-inch scale. And so I was kind of been carousing through some of those, browsing, I don't know. And then I came across like this site called 5K Toys and like Toys Metaverse. I can put the link in the description for the site that I got this one from. That guy here from Hong Kong, like nothing. It was crazy. But yeah, so they take like Hot Toys, they shrink them down to 6-inch scale, and they all look fantastic from what I've seen. And then I also have like there's like a Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us, because God, I almost almost made the mistake of my life buying the NECA set, and oh my God, those look horrific. I can throw a picture up just for you guys. The promotional pictures, nothing like the final product. Like, holy crap, you thought like loose collector stuff was bad? Like with the false advertising stuff, whoo, they look like they're melting. Like Joel and Ellie open the Ark of the Covenant. But anyways, like, so we ended up getting like a Lim Toys Leon, it's like the same thing. It's like we have the Sideshow one, and it's basically the same exact identical figure, just shrunk down to 6-inch scale. So, long story short, I was going to get the Figure Arts one. I ended up just finding this one on accident. I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, that actually looks pretty good. And, you know, worst comes to worst, I'm out a few bucks, and I can use it for a custom. I can resell it or whatever. But yeah, this was, I think at the end of the day, like 90 bucks. Something like that. It's not super expensive. Definitely import prices. But from everything I've seen from like these third-party ones, there's like the Felix Toys Joker or the Clown or whatever. Like they all look really good. So I thought, let's make a video on this one. This will be my first time actually seeing it like in person for the first time with my very own eyes. I've been looking at the promotional pictures for months. Just like, man, when is that gonna ship? When is that gonna ship? So this will be a first for all of us here. So let's start. Very simple packaging. I have sweaty hands? My hands aren't even that sweaty. This really picks up like finger oils and even slight moisture. Wow. But yeah, like I said, Play 112 Black Warrior 112 scale collectible action figure. This is definitely not Darth Maul, so let's see what we're working with here. I've seen pictures of other figures along these lines, and so, like, I know that the packaging is pretty simple, so yep. Alright, so here is the robe, which we will get to later. They'll look really good in the pictures, and there he is. Like, no frills, no fancy packaging here. This is literally just foam and little cutouts, and they just shove everything in there. So, I guess let's start by looking at some of these little accessories here. So he does come with his macro binoculars. I forget what they call them in Star Wars, but That looks really good. It's like weathered because I know you use these on Tatooine, so it looks like there's like it's got like sand and dirt, everything all up in the creases. Like it's like this like tan brown kind of weathering going on there. That looks really good, actually. So far so good. Everything is painted where it needs to be painted. All the little buttons, the little peepholes, and all that stuff. So yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I dig it. Move on to lightsaber hilt, and wow, that actually looks really nice. It's like gunmetal kind of metallic, but like it's not like chrome shiny. But yeah, like, again, lots of nice weathering, lots of detail. The buttons, everything's really nicely painted. So it's like for like a like I don't even want to call this like a knockoff, but like oh hey, and it comes apart. Okay, that's cool. That was like some crusty stuff coming off of that. I hope that's not anything major. But yeah, so that's really cool. That looks really, really nice. Definitely better than what Hasbro puts out. And it looks like it's in scale too, because I know like the last Darth Maul, or not the last one, the one that came in like that storybook thing, like the lightsaber was huge, the hilt. So that looks like it scales really well. So then next we have, oh wow, a very long lightsaber blade, and it's orange. But anyways, yeah, the hilt, it's the same as the other one. It looks really nice. It looks like you can plug it into the other one, so I'm not 100% sure why this was a whole separate piece. But this is interesting. So it's like pointed at the end. It almost looks like a toothpick stuck in here. So yeah, so there's like a rounded end. So this would normally be what was sticking out, but instead they have this sharp bit. So I'm wondering if that's... No? I mean, I know like the ends are kind of pointy in the movies and stuff, if this would focus. I know it's kind of pointy in the movies, but you know, I don't know, it's a little much. I guess we'll see. But yeah, so that slots in there. That's really long. Oh my god. Okay. And other things. So it looks like we got multiple blades here. And it looks like they're all kind of the same. They're like pointed at the ends. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. But I do have some extra Darth Maul, so if I'm really not happy with it, I can always just swap them out. I'm not sure why there's orange ones and then translucent red ones. I'm kind of confused as to why that is, and I think... Oh, they're all the same length. Okay, I was going to say maybe these ones might be shorter. So then, moving on, this is what I'm really, really excited about. This could either be really good or really bad. This whole thing is going to live and die by the Headsculpts. So let's see. Really excited. All right. Holy crap. Yo. That looked good. It's got the little earring and everything. Whoa. Look at that. Even like the eyes and everything. That looks crazy good. Wow. So yeah, this is definitely like one of those things where it's like you see the promotional pics and then you get it in hand. And it's like, yeah, it is just as good. Look at all the detail on that. Like all the lines are where they should be. And this is sharp too. These little horns. Oh my god. Yeah, those are pointy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, very, very impressed. There's all the like the weathering and the shading on the horns there. It's like there's a slight raise where they kind of go up. That looks really good. Okay. Wow. All right. So then I guess moving on to like the main attraction here. Pull him out, just make sure there's nothing. Oh, there's all the hands and stuff. Okay. And a little base. I was like, wait, where's the rest of it? I know there was more. So we can go over all that in a bit. But yeah, okay. So he's got a little like crotch stand we can look at. Is that like mirrored? Oh no, it's just clear plastic. Whoops. I'm messing with my crappy cardboard diorama. All right. So. Yo. Look at that. Wow. And I thought like the figure arts one was like the best Darth Maul face I'd ever seen. This blows it away. Like by a long shot. Holy crap, that looks good. Wow. I mean, like the pupils are slightly off, but that really you can't even really tell like from a distance. Holy crap. It's like a little miniature Ray Park right in my hands here. All the details the same as on the other head. That looks incredible. Wow. I'm just kind of blown away. Like I said, this is like my first time like holding this in hand and actually looking at it. So I mean, I guess the rest of it pretty plain, but you know, it's Darth Maul. He wears black everything, so I mean, there's not a ton to really speak of, but yeah, we can go over it. We can look at it, obviously. He's got like the leather sash, which is like some sort of faux leather pleather type material. That looks good. The little buttons or rivets or whatever those are. There's a clip for what I would assume is the lightsaber. Or does the lightsaber go on the back? What goes on the back here? There's like a little loop. I wonder if that's for the lightsaber? Because I think... Is that where the binoculars go? No, it's got to be for the lightsaber, right? I don't see any way to clip those on, though. I don't know. I'll have to fiddle with it and see. But yeah, so like one of the other things I was worried about, and it's the same with a lot of like 1/12 scale things when they use the cloth goods, is like it would look a little too like baggy or whatever. But I mean, Darth Maul wears baggy, flowy black robe, so even if it is a slightly oversized, it still just kind of works. And it looks like there's, oh my god, all these little individual bits are wired. No effing way, dude. Look at that. Okay, so these ones under here aren't, but the ones on top are. So you can get like really dynamic with this guy. Okay, so the stuff in the back isn't, but the stuff in the front is. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm getting excited over wires and some sashes here, but yeah. So detail wise, again, I mean it's black cloth, but it's got like the stitching lines or the design of the fabric right. It looks like it does in the movies. And yeah, I never really noticed like how many little bits were actually kind of coming down on that. That looks really good. Up to the gloves. So these are like typical kind of plastic, but they look like leather, which is neat. It's got this, I never really noticed that. This little silver thing on his gauntlet there. That's cool. Yeah, nicely detailed. Like I said, it looks like leather. Obviously plastic. They're nice and soft though, so I don't really have to worry about anything breaking, hopefully. And moving down. Oh, that's unfortunate. So the feet are all one piece, it looks like, with the boots. Oh, that kind of blows. So, okay, well, yeah, first real negative. No real ankle articulation. Oh, yeah, that kind of sucks. So can't get too dynamic with it, I guess. But, I mean, since we're looking at them, very nicely detailed boots, though. It's got little, like, buckles and straps and designs, and I never even noticed his little arrows on there. That's neat. Yeah, and they look nice, too. I don't know if that's just, like factory dust or whatever, but they almost look like they've been weathered, too. Down at the soles. Oh, even the soles. Look at that. That's cool. Oh, okay. So yeah, they just kind of come off. So it just goes down into an ankle joint, or to a ball joint into the ankle. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm not super happy about that, because like that's one thing about Darth Maul figures. You want to get like those super cool dynamic poses. Now I can't figure out how to put this back on. So that kind of sucks, but I don't know. I'm gonna try and figure out how to get this boot back on, and I'm gonna keep fiddling with them for a second, and then we will resume. We'll resume then. All right, so I've been fiddling with them for a little bit, and a couple of things. So one, I don't know if it's the clothes or if it's the body that they use, but as far as the arms go, this is about as far down as you can get them, which isn't like the biggest deal. Like I'm probably never gonna have Darth Maul just standing on the shelf like that. Just, you know, like a little minor nitpick. And then the other thing is, I was trying to adjust this belt piece just to move it down just a smidge because it was a little too high up. It was looking a little silly. And then when I did it, it kind of all fell apart. Like it just came out, and there was nothing really securing it to itself. It was just like this little spike nail sticking out. And no matter what I did, I could not get it to go back and stay. So I ended up having to like put a couple dabs of like of this gel, Loctite super glue gel, just to hold it down. It's not going anywhere now. But then I also unfortunately forgot to put the little loop back on. So the little loop for whatever that was for is no longer on there, and that's not getting back on. And the other thing with this material overall is really cheap. It's kind of like it started to fall apart a little bit, just kind of fiddling with it, which is whatever. Like I'm not gonna be playing with this figure. Like I'll pose it and put it on the shelf, but still. One of the other things is I just to see like to pop this head off, and I'm not gonna do it again because I felt like I was gonna break something. This head is really tough to get off, and then it's like even harder to get back on. So this is definitely one of those things where it's like you're gonna want to heat it up before you swap it, and then vice versa. And then yeah, the other thing obviously is just the ankle situation, which really sucks because like I don't know, like wanting to have Darth Maul doing cool stuff, but you're always gonna have to have like one, like the feet kind of, I don't know, like you're not gonna be able to get like super wide stances because he's always gonna be flat-footed, so it's always gonna look a little funky. So I'm not sure if there's anything I can really do about that. Like with the exception of maybe cutting these shoes, but I really don't want to do that because they're super nice. I really don't want to cut the shoes because when you take it out, there's just a little hole that's sticking up in the bottom of the shoe here into that peg that we saw earlier. So like it swivels. Oh, and speaking of that, like there's no thigh swivel to speak of either. So definitely kind of limited in articulation. Like if there is, I can't feel it, and I really don't want to break anything. Because his body doesn't feel fragile, but I have heard stories about these like third-party figures having bodies that can break really easy. But other than that, like yeah, like articulation-wise, it is definitely limited because of the thick clothes here, but you can still get really good range. Go up to about here. Oops, and the arm just popped out. Oh, I'm gonna have to figure that out. There's no way I can take this this top off. So, okay, let me figure that out real quick. Okay, crisis averted. The arm went back in, so it seems like everything is kind of soft. So if anything pops out, it's actually really easy to just kind of push it back in. And I guess one of my other little gripes with these little hooks here, they're very, very obvious. Not really sure like what other ways they could have done it in terms of with the scale that they're working with, but maybe a little bit more effort to hide them would have been nice because the way that they had to hit him was like this was like way up here. And still, I'll have to look at pictures of Darth Maul. I don't know if this is supposed to be this high or what. But anyways, we'll move on to accessories and stuff. We'll see what we're working with here. All right, so first things first, taking everything out. I can't tell if I'm like really impressed or really confused or maybe a little bit of both. This is probably one of like the nicest yet like weirdest stands I think I've ever gotten with a figure. Like it's this really thick plexiglass and like the little crotch grabber just kind of pops in here. Like it's like legit not bad. I've never seen anything like this before. Like when it comes to action figure stands that like come with something, but I mean, it does the job. So there you go. I normally don't really care much about stands, but so this is kind of interesting. He does come with alternate gauntlet pieces, which I didn't even really stop to think about. But that little metal bit on his hand, I'm pretty sure. Oh God, it's been a while since I watched Phantom Menace, but I think that's how he was controlling the little robot that was floating around. So I think these are the dueling gauntlet bits. And then as far as hands go, we do have a ton. We have some outstretched force power hands. What is the camera focusing on? Some outstretched force power hands. We have like almost like finger guns. It's just kind of like more just kind of dynamic action maybe like doing like a cool pose with like a lightsaber and one hand out, but you got two of those. So two identical versions of that. And then we do have just two kind of relaxed-ish finger hands. And then obviously we have two lightsaber gripping mitts. And then, you know, the ones that are already on there. So I'm assuming these are for like holding the binoculars and stuff. Like, let me actually... Oh yeah, and like the hands are soft enough, it just kind of fits right in there. We already went over the lightsabers, or the lightsaber hilt. I'll mess around with like the blades in a bit. So the cloak, which is, I'll throw up the promotional pictures, was one of the things that really sold me on this. And then getting it in hand, I know it's technically like an easy fix, but I'm not sure, like, I mean, I guess, you know, it's like a third party thing. You kind of get what you're paying for, but look at the stuff hanging off the bottom of these. Like, that doesn't look great. It looks like unfinished. And I know it's like I can just take a lighter and just kind of singe that up, and it should be fine, but I'm worried about just over time, like, you know, moving the figure around and stuff, like this is just going to keep fraying like that. So... yeah, it's all over the inside and everything. I'll fiddle with this in a sec, and I'll pop it on just so you can see what it looks like. So hopefully it looks as cool as it does in the pictures. It looks nice. I do actually have a robe to compare this to too, one that I got off of eBay a long time ago. So yeah, let me fiddle with some more stuff. I'll mess with these like lightsaber blades. I'll swap out the hands a couple times just to see how easy they are, and you know, we'll catch back up. All right, so, oh boy. A lot going on here. So, get these hands out of the way. I did swap out the little gauntlet pieces, which I'm not a big fan of when it comes to things with soft goods, because you're always trying to push the little sleeves up and stuff. The robe, yeah, so I did take that out into the garage, and I ran a lighter over it. So a lot of the hanging bits are gone, but now it's kind of got like a little burnt edge to it, which is fine. It honestly doesn't look bad. Makes it just kind of look like it's dirty, like it's been dragged and stuff, which it would be. And the robe itself isn't bad. It's got this little clasp that holds everything together. The little sleeve bits are wired, so you can get some more dynamic stuff with that, which is neat. And then one other thing that I actually did do, because I was getting kind of fed up with trying to pose this guy and trying to move him around, I did pop the boots off, and then I heated them up, and I did cut them with an X-Acto knife to get a little bit of extra posability out of them, which actually did work quite a bit. Is it ugly? Yeah, it's not great. You can't really tell when it's in a neutral position, but now you can actually get some decent range with the feet like they should have had in the first place. So it doesn't really bother me. I know some people will probably be kind of nervous about doing that to their own stuff. Yeah, it was definitely kind of nerve-wracking, but now you can get some more dynamic posing with them, and his feet stay flat. So I'm definitely kind of happy with that. It's like, all in all, I paid like $90 for this thing. I wasn't really expecting like a project. And then another thing is like these arms really like popping out of the sockets, like especially trying to get this cloak on. This one just kept popping out. Luckily, it's really simple to push back in. But I noticed once this arm popped out and I popped it back in, it's like staying stuck further up. So I'm not really sure what to do about that. I may end up having to like take this thing apart and kind of see what's going on underneath all the clothes. Really don't feel like doing that right now. It is like 1 a.m. It's past my bedtime. But I've been fiddling with this for the last probably 30-40 minutes or so. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. The cloak looks nice. So let me pop this on the little nut grabber stand. I do want to mess with these blades real quick, so I am curious to see like what these are all about. I gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of the weird like toothpick look that they have. And again, I'm really not sure why there's orange ones. Like I'm really confused as to what the orange ones are for, because like the red ones look nice. Like these look fine. What did I do with the hilt? There it is. Yeah, it's just kind of strange that these are the ends that stick out, And it's like, yeah, I know in the movies they're pointy, but it's like just I'm probably just because I'm not used to it. Like as far as like an action figure goes, and they're really long, like super long. I don't think they're this long in the movies. So I mean, again, it doesn't bother me. It's just they seem like way longer than they should be. Like that's just it's like a little nitpick. Lots of little nitpicks with this thing. But I mean like overall I'm still happy with it. Like I'm not like I don't hate it or anything. It's just slightly frustrating, I guess. Like I said, you spend 90 bucks on something. I guess you know it's going to be hit or miss with these like again I don't want to say knockoff, but these like third party unofficial figures. It's kind of like you get what you get type stuff. So like yeah, I mean he's cool. Like I like it. I like the robe. And again, like I said, I do have one to compare it to in a second here when I do pull out some other figures. We'll do like size comparison. I'll compare my other Darth Mauls that I have, all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean this is kind of where it's at. Like I said, there's like some confusing things going on here. Some slight irritations with, like I said, dropping almost $100 on something and then having to basically work on it almost like it's like some sort of model kit or project or like a fodder figure. Not the end of the world, honestly. And like I keep saying, I'm still happy with it. I still really like it. It still looks fantastic, even just standing here like this. Like that is even if I just popped it up on the shelf, you know, obviously with a little bit more adjusting to the cloak, even just standing like that is so cool. That is so cool. It looks really good. Like like that is definitely one of the best looking Darth Maul figures I've ever seen. So yeah, let me go grab a few figures and we'll do some size comparisons, some Darth Maul comparisons, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so here's something I wasn't entirely expecting. I wasn't sure exactly how big this figure was going to be, because I know some of these import ones I can either run like a little too small or like a little too large, but it looks like he's, if not a tiny bit shorter, about the same exact height as the Hasbro ones. So that's definitely cool. And then yeah, like you can see this one right here. This is like the custom robe. Oops, just knock everything over. This is the custom robe I got off of eBay, and it wasn't good. Like not at all. The wiring was kind of wonky. The stitching on the top of the hood is crooked. It was a whole thing. I tried to get I tried to send it back or like get a refund, and the guy literally just ignored me and then reported me to eBay for like fraud or something. And that was a whole thing. So yeah, obviously the new robe, much better improvement on the old one. That was like another thing about this. Like there's supposed to be these little arm slits, and like the one was backwards, and it was really bad. I spent like $25 on this thing, and it had the same problem as that import one with all the little hanging bits, which you can see just will not go away. But let me actually, I'm curious now that I have them in hand here. Oh, I forgot how hard that old Darth Maul figure was to stand up. I'm just curious to see. Okay, interesting. So the hilts are exactly the same length. Obviously, the import one's a little bit thinner, which I think is more accurate, but look at how long the blades are compared to that. So I'm pretty sure these are a lot more accurate. I don't know. I feel like the blades on the import are like way too long. But again, it has been a minute since I watched Phantom Menace, so maybe if I go back and watch it, I'd be like, oh, okay, actually, no, they're supposed to be that long, but I don't think so. But yeah, you can see like just how much better detailed the import one is than the Hasbro. It's just nice weathering and all that. This one's maybe a little too shiny. There's some blue tack on there because it's broke, so it's kind of holding that together, so that's why there's blue on that. But then yeah, so I mean, as far as like face sculpts go and everything, like hang on, I'll pop this robe off so we can see a little bit better. But yeah, as far as like face sculpts go, yeah, this one obviously definitely blows these out of the water. Like I mean, the Hasbro ones aren't bad, like especially these newer ones. Like this one's not terrible, and then this one's got like that crazy eye thing going on. But I mean, it's like Savage Maul right now. Not bad. I mean, for a mass market, what was this thing when it came out? Like $22 or something for that Darth Maul. God, I miss the old prices. But yeah, I mean, obviously this one is superior in every way. Like this looks so good. I still can't get over how good this head sculpt is. Like it's like as much as I want to get like frustrated with this figure and maybe kind of rant on it a little bit, and there are some deserved like this little bit right here is driving me crazy. This part that's coming off of this belt. There's some deserved criticism here, but God, that face sculpt. And then this other one. Wow, those really make up for it, because whew, yeah, that's nice. So there he is, obviously with the other Darth Mauls. And it looks like, yeah, he is exactly the same height, if not maybe just a smidge shorter than these other ones. This one's interesting because he's got like the splay legs, but for some reason I think he's the tallest out of these three. Maybe it's just because of the way the head is, or I don't know. But yeah, so he definitely fits in, like he's like scale-wise with your other Darth Maul, so you don't have to worry about him being like massive or way too tiny. He's perfect scale, fit in with your Black Series and figure arts and all that. And then speaking of figure arts and other Black Series, these are two that I'm definitely excited to put him with. So we have our figure arts Padawan Kenobi and Black Series Qui-Gon. I wanted to get the figure arts Qui-Gon, but man, those prices on that guy. Oop. Yeah, the prices on the figure arts Qui-Gon, like just way more than I'm willing to pay. And the Hasbro one's actually really good, like especially as far as like the head and the paint and all that. Like it's a really damn good likeness. And it's like until somebody like maybe like a Mofex or somebody comes out with one, I'm perfectly happy with the Black Series. And then yeah, we do have the Padawan Kenobi, probably my favorite figure arts figure, honestly. Like I know there's others that are like superior and whatnot, but God, I there's something about Padawan Kenobi, something about Episode 1. Takes me back to being 9 years old, seeing that in the theater for the first time. But yeah, obviously the figure arts run a tad bit smaller, so he's about even height with Darth Maul. I'm pretty sure Ewan's a little bit taller than Ray Park. And then I know Liam Neeson's a tall guy, so that works just fine. But yeah, you can do your final battle, you know, with like Duel of the Fates thing. No problems, not gonna look funky. Everything looks how it should. So I'm definitely happy with how that scales with the other two here. The camera would stop moving, that'd be great. And then areas with Black Series Asajj Ventress and Season 7 of Clone Wars Ahsoka. One thing that's always bothered me about the Ahsoka figures, like she runs a little too tall, I think. Like she's definitely not that tall in the show. Like she, especially next to like a figure arts Anakin, little too tall, Ahsoka, but I mean she fits in scale wise. I know they didn't meet when Darth Maul looked like that. It was this version, but even still, little too tall. But yeah. All right, so at the end of the day, like everything considered, everything put together, all the articulation, all the weird little nitpicks, things kind of breaking, stuff having to be modified, the cloak, everything. Like, what do I think? That's a really, really tough question to answer, because on the one hand, like just aesthetic wise, and just because of how hyped I was for this figure in general, like I want to say like, you know, like chef's kiss A+. But then, like, the lack of articulation in the ankles, having to literally, like, heat these boots up and cut them just to get them to be able to stand. I mean, even just like this. Like, without doing that, like, he's basically straight leg. Like, you just slap him on this stand and then put him on the shelf. Like, there's no dynamic posing with him. The robe coming in with all that crap hanging off the bottom and literally having to take a lighter to it. The arms that keep popping out, the belt thing that kind of fell apart that I had to fix. Like there's so much that I had to do to this figure to just kind of get it to like an acceptable level of like articulation and everything. But then just looking at him right now, like you cannot tell me that is not one of the most badass little 6-inch figures you've ever seen. So I was like, I don't know. I like, would I say, like, you should go out right now, find a site that has them, and spend $100 on them? I mean, if you want a Darth Maul, you don't have a Darth Maul, for whatever reason you don't want to get the figure arts one, yes, I would probably say go out of your way to get one if you want one or you need one, because just due to the fact that I know how much these figures end up going for once they sell out. Like this like it was like $80 with whatever tax and shipping. It came up to close to 100. I know like that $90 is going to end up being like 200, 250. But then again, with this one it might not, because of all the problems. Maybe it's not going to end up being as desirable as like the Felix Toys Heath Ledger Joker, or the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and like the Lim Toys Leon, because those are like exceptional figures. This one, God, like I want to love it, but it's like it fought me every step of the way, you know? Like it was like I know you want to love me, but I'm gonna make it as difficult as possible to. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it just comes down to, do you have the money, and do you want a Darth Maul that looks really cool that you're gonna have to put a little bit of work into? I don't think it's worth $100. I like, as much like I was so hyped and I wanted to just like as soon as I opened this, I was gonna be, oh man, this is amazing. I can't wait to tell people to buy it. Like, it's so worth it. It's worth it. I don't know if it's worth $100. I don't think it is. Um, but yeah, I guess it's gonna come down to personal preference. Like, don't take my word for it. Maybe watch some more reviews, look at the pictures, make up your own mind. If you feel like like getting like a project figure that's gonna look really cool when you put the work into it, yeah, I'd say go for it. Or maybe if you can get a little bit cheaper. I don't know. That this is one of like the toughest like decisions on a figure I think I've ever had to make. Like as far as like a review goes. Like I personally really like it. Um, but there's also a part of me there's like that slight bit of buyer's remorse, just due to how kind of not sloppy, but just how the execution could have been better. Know what you're getting into, I guess, is what I'll say. Make your own decision. Just understand what you're getting into when you purchase this thing. It is a wonderful looking like statue if you don't feel like posing it, but if you want to get those cool Darth Maul poses even just a little bit, you're going to have to cut the boots, you're going to have to do this and do that. Oh man, I hate to end a video like that. Like, I keep looking for more words to say, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it's cool, but it might not be, and it probably isn't for everyone. I would say honestly, if you have the Figure Arts one, you're probably pretty set. Just buy yourself like a robe on eBay or something, and there you go. You pretty much have this figure minus the binoculars, which, I mean, whatever. You're not really missing out on much. I'm sure you could find 3D printed ones on Etsy or something, but God, this was a long one. This was a long review. A lot went into this, like effort wise and time wise and all that. So yeah, I don't feel like this is like a downer of an ending, but it's like, yeah, it's just like I keep saying, I don't know. I think it's cool, but yeah, make up your own mind on this one. Like, if you really want to drop the money, then go for it. If not, okay. So basically, what I can say is, like, if you want to drop the money, drop the money. If you feel like you can skip it, then just skip it. You're not gonna miss out on anything super crazy. I don't know. I'm just rambling. It's like 2 a.m. I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Um, Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give us a like, give us a follow. All that good stuff. And yeah, I don't know when I'll be back. I wasn't even expecting to make this video today, but I'm sure I'll be around. I mean, it's that time of year. There's tons of stuff coming out, so I'm sure I'll be throwing out another video here soon. So I will catch you guys later.